Let's look at the transfer market today. Alex Crook is with us. His transfer notebook is out today. Hi, Crookie.
Good morning.
Good
afternoon.
Good afternoon. That's right.
Yeah, he doesn't know what day it is.
Doesn't always. It's transfer deadline week. He's going to be like this all week. Sleeping bag, sleeping in the garden. I don't know why. It wouldn't make any sense, would it? But anyway, Douglas Luiz, you have a bit of news.
Yeah, good news, I think, as far as Aston Villa are concerned, because obviously they've lost Boubacar Kamara for the rest of the season. John McGinn is going to be out for a few weeks as well. And now we heard this morning that Yuri Tillemans could miss the next couple of months. So all of a sudden, what looked a really strong area of the team in midfield is somewhat depleted. Douglas Luiz has been on loan from Juventus at Nottingham Forest. There was talk over the weekend that Chelsea were looking to take over that loan, but he is now Aston Villa bound. I'm told this is a done deal. We're just waiting the formal announcement. Douglas Luiz terminating his loan at the City Ground, returning to his former club, and I'm told there will be a buy option included in the loan as well, significantly less than the 40-odd million that Villa got when they sold him to Juventus. So maybe not a bad piece of business.
Yeah, could be good for them.
Maybe. I mean, he's been sort of quite off the pace. I mean, if you think Villa got rid of him, Juventus got rid of him, and now Forest have got rid of him. And watching him at Forest, I haven't been particularly impressed. So he looks way off the pace to me. So we'll have to wait and see. But obviously, even Stan's not entirely sure.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of Villa fans I've noticed on social media, touch underwhelmed.
Yeah, I understand that, but I guess this is a reflection of where Aston Villa are when it comes to the financial rules, both in terms of PSR and the sanctions that UEFA put on them as well. There was talk of Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We were talking about him last week, weren't we, maybe being offered to Aston Villa. So they're having to be quite creative in this window. They've obviously paid money to bring Tammy Abraham back, who scored a lot of goals when he was there first time around. But I feel for Villa because you look at the league table, they're only 4 points off the top of the table after Arsenal's defeat against the mighty Manchester United on Sunday. I'll just get that in there.
Yeah, right.
But you can't take them seriously as contenders, can you? Because they don't have the squad depth that Arsenal and Manchester City do. And I don't think that's because the owners don't want to spend money. It's because they're being prohibited from doing so.
Yeah, this is what happened last year, didn't they? They kind of blew up towards the end of the season because he tends to play the same players all the time when he can.
So Tottenham keepers in the news and in featuring in your notebook. Antonin Kinski, who came in from the Czech Republic last year, played his first game against Liverpool in the League Cup, was absolutely fantastic, played brilliantly. Subsequently was something sort of diminishing returns, I think it's fair to say. Now it seems he's being linked to West Ham, along with an option to buy, which I think has raised a few eyebrows amongst the Spurs fans, because they have a great deal of cover in that area. But long-term, Crookie, you're reporting that Spurs will get their eye on someone else in the Premier League to potentially take over from Vicario.
Yeah, just on West Ham, I got wind of their interest in Kinski towards the back end of last week, and Tottenham sources played it down. They said to me, well, why would he swap one bench for another? And actually, I think if he goes to West Ham, the idea would be that he plays for the rest of the season, because I know it's been an area of the team that Nuno has been concerned about.
I don't see him as an upgrade.
I
don't see him as an upgrade on Areola. I really don't. No, I mean, I don't know if he's ready to be thrown in to certainly a relegation battle, unless they've spotted something we haven't in the few games he's played.
Yeah, it's a big ask, isn't it? But they're going to have to do a bit of legwork and a bit of moving pieces around in order to sign him on loan, because they've already got Igor on loan from Brighton. That hasn't worked out at all. If you go back to the last day of the January window, him going there and not Crystal Palace actually scuppered Mark Gay going to Liverpool. And obviously Liverpool have lost out because he's now at Manchester City, Mark Gay. But I think the idea would be they want a couple of loans, Kinski being one. They're in for Axel Disasi at Chelsea as well, but they can't sign them both on loan all the time that Igor is taking up one of those domestic loan spots. So a bit of work to be done. But on Tottenham, keen to get your view on this, Paul. Robin Roos, for me, has been one of the signings of the season
good
at
keeper.
Sunderland. 7 clean sheets in the Premier League. Only Martin Dubravka down at Burnley has made more saves. They only paid 11 million quid there or thereabouts, Sunderland. So what a bargain as well when they signed him in the summer. And I'm told, yes, very much he's on Tottenham's radar, because Vicario is potentially heading back to Italy to join Inter Milan in the summer.
Yeah, there've been a few reports. I mean, I think generally there is a feeling amongst a lot of Tottenham fans that, that we need an upgrade on Vicario. He's just too erratic. The distribution is really hit and miss. I don't think he instills a great deal of confidence in his back four at times. He's it's the old fantastic shot stopper, but that's not enough anymore, really. And I think maybe it could suit him to go home I think Spurs could do with an upgrade, to be honest, long term. Although, if we're in the Championship, he may not want to come to us, Roofs. That's the problem.
I don't think you're going to be in the Championship, but I feel a bit for Sunderland because we've seen this, haven't we, where a team comes up, they do really well. Bigger clubs start to pay attention to their players. I'm looking at Siddiqui as well, who's been linked with Manchester United. You can see the fit there. I wonder if a big club might come in for Granit Xhaka as well, because he's been an absolute revelation, hasn't he?
Yeah, true.
I want to ask you about Kolo Muani. There's a few reports that he could be, that Juve and PSG are unhappy about doing business together at the moment, but Juventus would like him back. It's not really happened for him at Tottenham so far. He doesn't look like his heart's in it. I mean, could you see that happening? It all feels a bit too convenient, really, in the short space of time they got left.
I was going to say it's time running out, isn't it, for any teams to get these deals done? But they seem to find a way. 7 o'clock, is worth pointing out, is when the window closes on Monday, so maybe a bit earlier than we've been accustomed to in recent years as well. I think the mere fact that Tottenham would consider terminating Kolo Muani's loan and therefore letting him join Juventus would tell you that they're casting their net for a forward as well. And I know that was one of the big priorities coming into this window. And you know what? I keep coming back to Jean-Philippe Mateta, who obviously Forest are showing interest in, clubs in Italy as well, and Aston Villa before Tammy Abraham pitched up there, because Tottenham have been linked with Mateta in the past. And if you're looking for a ready-made player in the Premier League, then maybe they don't need to look too much further than Selhurst Park. Whether you think he's good enough to lead the line for Spurs, I don't know. But I don't think they'll let Kolo Muani go without bringing in a replacement.
Yeah, I think beggars can't be choosers leading the line for Spurs at the moment. Although Solanke's back.
He's a good player, but he's not clinical, is he? Neither.
I mean, he had a little purple patch, and it's often difficult when a player just is on fire for a few months and then they ebb off. I wonder if you're going to get the player that you're going to get him back on fire again, or the ebbed off version, Crookie.
Well, his career has fluctuated, hasn't it, quite a bit at Palace? Because I remember the Palace fans weren't sold on him in his first couple of seasons. He did really well last year under Oliver Glasner, and has done okay this year. Not too many players in the Premier League have scored more than him, but he misses big chances, doesn't he? I mean, against Chelsea at the weekend, he gets put through one-on-one. If he scores there, then maybe it's a different outcome. So I think in terms of joining a top club, I think he needs too many chances to score a goal.
Fletcher was saying earlier on that you've been saying that that the noise is getting louder around Cole Palmer for Manchester United. I mean, it's not going to be now, it's going to be the summer if it happens, but what's the situation there at the moment?
Well, I think it's fair to reflect that he is not necessarily completely settled in London. He's very much a Northwest boy. He goes back to Manchester on a regular basis. So I think long-term, the possibility of a return to City, or maybe even Manchester United, who we all know that he supported as a boy, is a possibility. But I think it's a hard deal to do. You know, United are prioritising elsewhere in terms of the summer transfer window, the likes of Carlos Baliba, Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton, different type of midfielders to Cole Palmer. But I guess if Bruno Fernandes does go, and there is a more than a possibility that he might leave United at the end of the season, then maybe there is a vacancy for that number 10 position. But Chelsea, you would imagine, would make it difficult. I know he's not had the best of years, actually. His form at the second half of last season wasn't great. He had an upturn at the Club World Cup, and he's not been great this season. But
great in the Club World Cup.
He's their best player, isn't he? When he's fully fit and firing, I'm not sure he's ever been fully fit this season. He is Chelsea's best player.
Yeah, he is. You know, it would take, I think, between 80 and 100 million, and United have got other priorities, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And just quick one, Marco Silva for Forest. I suppose it depends what happens for the rest of the season with Sean Dyche, but they retain an interest, you understand.
Yeah, Fulham are trying to back their manager in this window. We're talking about Oscar. We talked today. They're looking for a forward as well. But I asked Marco Silva outright when I was at Craven Cottage on Saturday, and he nearer to you agreeing a new contract, and he said no, the club want to continue the journey, but let's see what happens. And there's always been a strong relationship between him and Evangelos Marinakis. He was at Olympiacos, won the title for Marinakis, and I think had he been available when Sean Dyche got the job, he probably would have been top of Marinakis' list. And I just got a few whispers at the weekend heading into that Brentford game, which obviously they've won Forest, and that gives them a bit of respite, that Marinakis wasn't overly enamoured with the job that Sean Dyche has done. Now, I'm not saying they're going to have 4 managers in a season, even by Nottingham Forest standards. That would be quite bonkers. But I think the summer could be interesting, particularly if Silva is a free agent.
Yeah. Cheers, Crookie. We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks a lot.
Crookie.
Cheers, guys.